Dear students, today you are going to study about another population attribute, that is population size. In the last class, you have studied about natality, mortality, sex ratio, population dispersal, as well as age distribution. And you have studied a graphical representation of different age groups within a population, that is age pyramid. So now today you are studying population size. Population size is defined as the number of individuals of a species per unit area per unit time is called population size. The number of individuals of a species per unit area per unit time is called population size. Population size is more technically also known as population density. It's also known as population size, is also known as population density. Whatever the individuals, the total number of individuals present within a population in a given area in a given time, so that we consider as population size, or it's also known as population density. The population size might be less than 10. It might be small. Population size might be small, less than 10. For example, when the Siberian cranes visits the Bharatpur wetlands during winter, the Siberian crane population size will be less than 10, or even we can find it might go up to the millions. Like for example, Chlamydomonas found in a water body. So it might be less than 10, or it might go up to the millions. So when there is increase in the size of a population, so then we call it as population growth. So population size might increase, or it might be stable, or it might be declining, decreasing, increasing. It might be stable, or it might be declining. So when there is increase in the size of population, then we call it as population growth. The increase in the size of a population is called as population growth. So when can we call as a population growth? The increase in the size of a population is called population growth. There are 4 basic processes that will affect the population size. Which are those? Natality, mortality, immigration and emigration. These are 4 basic processes. The 2 processes, natality and immigration, will increase the population size, and we call it as growth takes place. Growth occurs, population growth occurs. Due to mortality, death rate and emigration, there will be decrease in the population size, loss of individuals. By 2 processes, we can find population size will be increased By another two process, a population size will be decreased. So, by the two process, one is by a natality, birth rate, adding of the new individuals to a initial size of a population at a given time, and another is immigration, inward movement of the individuals. By these two processes we can find there will be increase in the size of a population. How does this growth occurs? It is in a definite pattern, and that definite pattern of increase in population size we call it as population growth curve or population growth models. So now you are going to study about the population growth curve or population growth models. One more extra information before beginning with this. Natality, it is birth rate, you know the definition. It is the rate of addition of a new individuals, rate of production, addition of new individual per unit of population per unit time. If it is in human, how to calculate for your competitive examination, it might be useful. So in human demography, natality is calculated per 1000 per year. Similarly, mortality, death rate, loss of individual per unit of population, per unit of population per unit time due to death is called mortality. In the last class you have studied. In humans, how is it calculated? Mortality, loss of individuals per 1000 per year. That is in humans. And one more thing you should know. Vital index. Vital index is the percentage ratio of natality to mortality. It is a percentage ratio of natality to mortality is called as vital index. Yes. When the vital index value is greater than 100, then a population will show a growth. It will be increasing. Population size will be increased. When the vital index value is equal to 100, then the population is stable. It neither increases nor decreases. When the vital index value is less than 100, so then the population size will be declining population. So, even by seeing the vital index of any population, we can also tell whether the population is showing growth or not, whether it is increasing or declining. before studying about a population growth curves or growth models, so you have to study, you should know these three terms: carrying capacity, biotic potential, and environmental resistance. First, carrying capacity. The maximum number of individuals that can be sustained in a given habitat is called carrying capacity. The maximum number of individuals that can be sustained in a given habitat is called carrying capacity. How to understand what is a carrying capacity? So carrying the capacity of a habitat means the individuals of a population should get all the natural resources. It should get all the natural resources for their healthy living. Carrying capacity of a population or within an habitat means the maximum number of individuals should get the natural resources, all the natural resources for their healthy living. See, there should be maximum individuals within a population and all the individuals should get the natural resources. So there should not be a competition, there should not be a predator effect, space should be available for its living. For the healthy living, it should get all natural resource. So then that level is called as carrying capacity. When a population size crosses, it is beyond carrying capacity, so then we can find, yes, there arises competition, predation, okay, so due to which the population size starts declining. Next, biotic potential. The maximum reproductive capacity achieved under ideal condition. The maximum reproductive potential capacity achieved under ideal condition is called as biotic potential. Maximum reproductive capacity is achieved only under ideal condition. What is that ideal condition? For an individual, yes, for a population to show its population size to increase maximum, so there should not be any predator effect, there should not be any competitor, yes, there should be plenty of natural resource space as well as food. Environmental resistance. Environmental resistance. The sum total of biotic and abiotic factors, the sum total of biotic and abiotic factors that checks the rise in population size, that checks the rise in population size and does not allow a population to reach its biotic potential. Once again I will repeat, environmental resistance. It is the sum total of biotic and abiotic factors that checks the rise in population size and does not allow a population to reach its biotic potential. What is the importance of environmental resistance? Yes, it will limit a population to be below the carrying capacity. It will check a population not to cross carrying capacity. It will limit a population to be below the carrying capacity. Carrying capacity, maximum number of individuals that can be sustained by any given habitat. The maximum reproductive capacity achieved under ideal conditions. Environmental resistance, the sum total of biotic, it might be predator, competitor, biotic and abiotic factor, which will check the rise in population size and does not allow a population to reach its biotic potential. So growth in a population growth means increase in the size of population. That growth takes place in a specific manner. There are two types of growth models. They are J-shaped growth curve and S-shaped growth curve. So now you will study about these two. J-shaped growth curve, also known as exponential. Exponential growth curve. It's also called as exponential growth curve. So you can see here this A. So the J-shaped or S-shaped growth curve can be studied by a graph taking time and population density in x-axis and y-axis. So this A, it is the J shape. The growth curve appears to be in an English letter J. For a population, to show the J-shaped growth curve, it should get plenty of natural resources. For any population to show J-shaped growth curve, it should get the plenty of unlimited natural resources. So then only it shows exponential J-shaped growth curve. For example, reindeer experimentally reared in a new area shows the J-shaped, this J-shaped growth curve. So reindeers are removed from its natural habitat and kept in a new habitat, new area with plenty of natural resources, that is space as well as food, natural resource, and there is no predators effect and there are no competitors. So in this growth curve, how does it growth curve takes place? It consists of two phases. Lag phase and exponential phase. Lag phase and exponential phase. So it consists of two phases, lag phase and exponential phase. Lag phase. The individuals of a population takes time to adapt to its new environment. It's a duration during which individuals takes time to adapt to its environment. During that duration, growth may take place or may not take place. If growth occurs the growth will be very slow. Yes, growth will be very slow, and that is called as lag phase. Okay, so where in the lag phase there is slow growth. Slow growth occurs. Next, when the individuals of a population have been adjusted towards its environment, and also the resources are unlimited, plenty, and there is increase in the population size. It goes on reproducing in an exponential manner. The individuals of population starts reproducing. Yes, and the growth, and this is called as exponential phase. This. Okay. And reaches, population size reaches to its maximum. When the population size has reached to a maximum, there will be at a particular moment, we can find there will be sudden decline in the size of population. Why? Because the resources might become scarce, and there will be sudden decline in the population size. The increase in the mortality is called as population crash. At a particular moment, there will be a population crash seen within the J-shaped. Okay, so when the individuals have been adapted, resources are plenty, and the individuals of population starts reproducing in an exponential manner, and the population size has been reached to the maximum. Up to certain level, the population size goes on increasing and reaches to its maximum. But at a certain moment, we can find that there becomes scarcity of food. Food becomes scarce, and the individual do not get the food, and there occurs starvation, mass starvation, and the individual starts dying out. Mortality increases. Increase in mortality is called as population crash. The equation for the J-shaped growth curve is dN by dt is equal to Rn. dN by dt is equal to Rn. What does these represent? dN by dt is equal to Rn. dN by dt is small change in population size or rate of change in population size. What is R? Intrinsic rate of natural increase. Intrinsic rate of natural increase. What is N? Population size, number of individuals. Yes. What is N here? It is the number of individuals. What is N? Population size. Rate of change or small change in population size. dN by dt is equal to Rn. So what is our intrinsic rate of natural increase? For a population to show an increase, R is responsible. What is R? It might be birth rate or immigration. So R will either increase or decrease the population size. So equation for the J-shaped growth curve, it is dN by dt is equal to Rn. For any population to show J-shaped, it should get unlimited natural resources. Examples for J-shaped growth curve. Lemmings of tundra region. Lemmings like rat. Same like rat. Lemmings are. Insects. Some insects. Example, now it is a season, rainy season. You can find flies. So more of the flies you can see at your home. Afterwards, when rainy season is over, you cannot find the flies. So insects, annual plants, algal bloom are the few examples which shows J-shaped growth curve. The next second is S-shaped growth curve. S-shaped is also known as sigmoid growth curve. Sigmoid growth curve. For example, we can take yeast in culture medium, and even human population also shows S-shape. Most of the populations of a living organism, they show S-shaped. For a population to show an S-shaped growth curve, need not get plenty of natural resources, because we can find the resources will be limited. And this is in the graph you can find this B curve, it is the S-shape, you can see here. And the slide, can you see here, it is carrying capacity. It is a level. Carrying capacity is also called as saturation level. So resources are limited, and here in the sigmoid growth curve we can find three phases. First is lag phase. Where the individuals take time to adjust towards its environment, and there might be increase or no increase in the size of population. So after the lag phase, the next will be the positive acceleration. When they have adjusted, individuals have adjusted, so there will be increase in the size of population, positive acceleration. When the population size almost increases and reaches to the carrying capacity, then there will be negative acceleration phase. So, and it will be below the carrying capacity. It does not cross carrying capacity. Why? Because there in a negative acceleration phase, there occurs environmental resistance, due to which it does not allow a population to cross the carrying capacity. There we can find the food might become scarce, or there might be competition among the individuals. So environmental resistance occurs and it will not allow a population to cross carrying capacity, and it allows a population to be below the carrying capacity. So what happens if the population crosses the carrying capacity? So then what will happen? Then we can find there will be decrease in population size due to increase in the mortality. Sigmoid growth curve was first studied by the biologist Verhulst per. So hence it is also known as Verhulst per logistic growth curve. Verhulst per logistic growth curve. S shape, sigmoid or logistic growth curve means same, one and the same. The equation for S-shaped growth curve is dN by dt is equal to Rn k minus n by k. dN by dt dN by dt is equal to Rn k minus n by k. dN by dt is equal to small change or rate of change in population size. R intrinsic rate of natural increase in population size k minus n by k represents environmental resistance. dN by dt, rate of change in population size. R is intrinsic rate of natural increase. N is population size. And k minus n by k, it is environmental resistance that will not allow a population to show an exponential growth. So, you have studied the different types of population attributes. So, the next part of the chapter, the last part of the chapter, that is population interactions. There are several different types of population interactions that we are going to study.